Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. Going to give you a very thorough overview of the article here. It's actually very short. There is a link in the description. We're pretty light on details, but what we do know is that an absolutely horrific event occurred on Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky. As far as I understand, the article doesn't explicitly state this, so this is somewhat of an assumption on my part, but as far as I understand, an entire family have been killed. That could be wrong. Perhaps there are more siblings that I'm not aware of that are not mentioned in the article. But as far as I understand, an entire family have been killed in what is believed to be a triple murder suicide. Again, this happened Saturday, Louisville, Kentucky. The husband, his name Gary Stanton, 60 years of age. We don't have a picture of Gary. Gary Stanton is believed to have killed his wife that we see on the right hand side, Mary Stanton, 49 years of age, as well as his two daughters, Adriana Stanton, 17 years of age at the back, and Brianna Stanton at the front, 11 years of age. They were all shot and killed. Following that, the scumbag, psychopathic, evil murderer, the husband, Gary Stanton, thankfully, in my opinion, took his own life. That's the blessing from my point of view. The blessing here is that the scumbag erased himself from the planet. I'm happy with that part. The rest of it is absolutely abhorrent. 3 innocents, their lives taken. His own wife, his own 2 daughters. Adriana Stanton, the 17-year-old, and Mary Stanton are believed to have been shot multiple times, according to the medical examiner. Brianna Stanton, the 11-year-old daughter, is believed to have been shot once. The motive has not been disclosed. That's a quote from the article. The motive has not been disclosed. My take on that is that the investigators believe that they do understand, that they do know what the motive or motives are. But for one reason or another, they're choosing not to disclose that to the public at this point in time. I don't know why that might be, but perhaps it's because the motive might relate to personal aspects of the victim's lives that the victim would not necessarily want to be made public. So perhaps out of respect to the victims, the police, the authorities, the investigators are choosing not to disclose the motive or motives at this point in time. The investigation is still underway, but it is being investigated as a triple murder suicide. And the wording within the article, including comments from the comments from the Louisville or Major rather, it does seem to be a foregone conclusion that the husband is the guilty party. Gary Stanton is believed to have his own wife, Mary Stanton, and his 17-year-old daughter, Adriana Stanton, multiple times. In addition, he shot Brianna Stanton, his 11-year-old daughter, once. All 3 were killed. Then he took his own life. What an absolute piece of shit, scumbag, coward. Why is this happening? Got to throw that question in. Why is this happening? We don't know the motive in this case, but there are so many cases like this, aren't there? I mean, I've been doing this YouTube true crime channel for, let's say a year, a little bit more than a year, actively. Seemingly in the last few months in particular, there's been a whole spate of families that have been killed. I've got to say primarily by the husband. You know, this is going from the top of my head, but I think that's quite right, isn't it? There was one just the other day, which I didn't cover, Buffalo Grove, 5 dead. I didn't look into it too closely. I forget the details. But there's been several just in the last month. Situations of, I believe I'm right in saying, husbands shooting and killing the entire family. Thankfully, in a couple of situations, some family members have been able to escape, some injured, some uninjured. But there's been a whole spate of these incidences. There are also boyfriends, that I've made a video about. One guy killed 4, if I recall. He was a boyfriend. He was leaving his girlfriend's home. It seems like he decided to move out. And then he went back into the house, shot and killed his girlfriend, the girlfriend's mother, the girlfriend's sister, shot a granddaughter, a 4-year-old girl too, all dead. He also shot another sister, the mother of the 4-year-old, who was able to seek help, and she survived, if I recall correctly. I don't know, terrible, terrible, terrible ongoings. Why? Why are these things happening? Don't know. But somehow or other, whatever the technical, minuscule, microscopic reasoning happens to be, perhaps it's due to finances, perhaps it's due to personal relationships, whatever it happens to be, ultimately, this scumbag Gary Stanton allowed the devil to take over him. He allowed evil into his heart and into his actions. He enacted evil. He allowed evil to take over. He allowed himself to submit to rage to the extent that he kills his family, his children, and ultimately himself. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. If you appreciate the content, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Take care.